Hey, hello, my name is Melanie Collins, and I'm the president of Young Republicans of Galveston County, and I have decided to run for Santa Fe City Council Position 3. So as a city council member, there's two roles. There's one is a policymaker, and so it's going out, listening to the members of your community, hearing what's needed for them, and then formulating a plan of action. And I have actually spoken to many members of my community, and I have created a plan, and it's called the Chief Plan. And so it's an acronym. And so the C is cut taxes. H, help our businesses. I, innovate city services. E, economic development. And F, fix our roads and drainage. And so that's the main part, is looking at our budget, going through, seeing what is it that is needed. And so as when I take office in May, I would be a part of the budget committee and coming up with this budget, looking line by line, again, why it's really important to have conservatives in office. And I'll be doing that part. And then the other portion would be as a legislator and going in and creating ordinances and resolutions that are needed to improve the lives of our community. I decided to run, especially after seeing what happened in 2020 in our presidential election. You know, there's a lot of the sense of hopelessness for conservatives. You know, what are we going to do? And, you know, talking to a lot of people, just people are like, well, I don't know what we can do. There's nothing, you know, what is it that we can do now? And I really saw, like, okay, I could sit here and I could, you know, mope about it and say, you know, what is it going to happen to conservatives? What's going to happen to our country? Or I could do something about it. And I saw that need in my community. There was an open seat for city council, and I was like, you know what better thing to do than to run for city council. I love this is my hometown. It's a town about 14,000 people, so it's a pretty small town. And I was like, you know, I have been very active in the Republican Party and Texas YRs, and wanted to bring that experience to city council and to really help cut taxes. Talking to people after I had, you know, decided I was thinking about running, and I was going around talking to people, you know, the big consensus is I'm getting taxed out of my home and there's nothing I can do about it, you know. And that's that sense, again, that sense of hopelessness, and it's terrible. And it's like, no, we can do something about it. And I have a plan. I want to bring these innovative ideas. In our town, we have 38,000 square feet of unused commercial real estate. And it's like, well, if we could bring in more businesses, then we can we can raise our tax revenue, and that is going to help us offset property taxes. You know, here you have all these people, they're like, we can't do anything about it, about our property taxes. Yes, here we can. Let's bring in businesses, let's up that sales rate revenue, and that way we can offset that. And so that's kind of what I was thinking when it came to deciding to run. Again, it took a lot of, you know, talking to family members, friends, people in the community, prayer. And, you know, that's what I finally decided is, you know, I want to be a conservative voice for our community. And I'm an educator. I teach here in Santa Fe. And I thought, you know, I want to help everyone in my community. I see my kids in my class, and I want them to have a positive role model, see that, you know, if you see a problem, there is a way you can fix it, and you can do it through running for office and being involved in your community. There were a couple of things that were concerning for me about running. It's a lot to just like step out and throw your hat in the ring. It's a big step, because you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to have all the attention, you know, there's going to be all these eyes on me, and I'm going to be the one that they look at to make these decisions for the community. And one of the biggest things is age. And that's a lot of times you hear, well, you know, why don't you just wait your turn? You know, let us keep and stay in charge. And there's nothing against anyone being older and being in charge, but we have the next generation that needs to go ahead and step up. You know, they're always, especially in Republican and conservative circles, they're like, well, who's going to take over when we're gone? Well, here we have that opportunity. We have a lot of conservatives that have these great ideas that want to be helpful in their community. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I might be under 30, but I'm going to run and be able to bring those ideas and help innovate and bring some excitement to our town. The other thing is I'm a mother of a young child. I have a 1-year-old daughter, and that's another thing. 1-year-olds are a lot of time commitment. And that's one thing that I was like, well, I don't know. But when it came down to it, I was like, I want to better her life. This is for her. This is for her future. I want her to grow up in a town where she is being able to grow and to love her community and want to come back. I mean, that was for me. I had went off to college. I had spent some time working on Capitol Hill in DC, and so I came back. I always wanted to come back. I was like, this is my town. I loved it here, and I wanted to say, okay, here I've gone out. I've had other experiences, other places. I've seen what other people are doing, and I want to bring those ideas here to our town of Santa Fe. I am the president of Young Republicans. My husband and I, we've been involved in politics in local Republican clubs. We have volunteered countless hours on other campaigns. And so we have been very involved. I've been very involved in campaigns. We try to do whatever we can, especially those grassroots campaigning, knocking on doors. We've knocked on many a door, and that's what it takes to win. And that experience has really helped us in, okay, here's the best way to reach people. What is it that people want to see with their leaders? People want to meet you, people want to talk to you, and that's something that I really enjoy. That's one of the most fun things that you have on these campaigns, is getting to meet so many different peoples. They have amazing stories, and then you hear these things that are going on. They feel so helpless, they feel like just all is lost, and it's like, okay, well, we can't just sit here and dwell on what's going wrong. We have to be solutions based. And I've realized that the best way and the most effective that you can be is saying, okay, we can complain about things and we can say things are not fair and something's going wrong, but we got to look at, okay, what's going to make you happy? What is the end goal? And then we need to figure out a plan of action and get to that end goal. And so I think just being involved in a lot of campaigns, being members of different Republican groups as well, has really prepared me for campaigning. And then I have always enjoyed local politics, county politics. I've been very involved in both. And so I believe that knowledge and knowing, okay, knowing about taxes, knowing how property taxes work, and being able to look at budgets and things like that, that has helped prepare me. I believe that it's very important to have conservatives, not only in city council, but just in any position throughout our state, throughout our country. And the two biggest things are, we care about liberty and fiscal responsibility. And I think that especially at the local level, that's where most of your policy is made. That's where most of when taxing is coming from. And so I think as a conservative, that we will champion the ideas of liberty and making sure that that this idea of this freedom is maximized, that you're able to experience and live your life as free as possible. And I think that we are very fiscally conservative, that we have fiscal responsibility, and that we look at, and we want to be good stewards of the tax dollar. And so we look at that budget and we say, okay, we have to make hard decisions, and we want to improve our city services. And through that fiscal responsibility, what's going to give us the best outcome. And so I think that it's very important that we look, especially when you're running for a city position, it's going to be nonpartisan. And so I think it's very important to have people running as conservatives, running as, here, I want to make sure that you want to live in the city and you want to stay in the city. And I think that that's what conservatives bring to the table. Well, I think that if you feel led to run, that you should run. And, thinking about it, talking with your members of your community, going out, talking to people within already that are on city council, talk to people within your YR organization, with your just Republican groups in general. For me, that was a big thing. I talked to people within the Republican Party of Galveston County, and they very much encouraged me to run. There was a lot of excitement, and that feels good because then you're like, okay, well, I have people that support me, that want me to do this. And I think that it's the hardest thing to do is just to decide to run and to make that decision. And if you feel that you are led to do it, if you believe that you have the know-how, the knowledge to do so, then that's what you should do. I think that we need to look to that next generation of leaders. We need to get involved on municipal boards, on in your Republican parties, on city councils, on school boards. Those are all really important positions that we need to look to for the future to make sure that we stay conservative here in Texas.